everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the June and July books review video. Mostly it is July because I only read one book in June and I read 6 books in July. So my July was amazing. Hopefully my August will be the same. So let's get started. So the very first book that I read in June was Alchemist by Sen Lin Yu, and this is a huge 1000+ pages book. I think this is my first 1000+ pages books ever. I have never read a book this long. I have read books up to 700 800 pages but never crossed the 1000 mark. So yes, it took me quite a while to read this, not because the story was not interesting. I absolutely loved the book and I gave this book 4.75 stars. But as I said, this is my first large book, and that is why it took me some time to get through it. But the book is amazing, and I bought this book because I heard somewhere there is going to be a movie or a series adaptation, and I really wanted to read it before that. So I read it. I absolutely loved it. It's actually a romantasy book, and sort of like enemies to lover, and I absolutely love romantasy or fantasy, and it was really fast paced. I give it 4.75 stars. I have given 0.25 stars less because the second part or the middle part of the book, so it's sort of in the like present, past, present kind of a structure, and the past part of the book, it took me a while to get into the story because I was so hooked on the present, which is like I think 200-300 pages odd. So I was so hooked into the present that it took me a while to get into the same speed when I was reading the past. So that is why it took me so long to read the book. But otherwise, once you actually get into it, the book is amazing. It is fast paced. I really liked the writing. I really liked the font, which is very important for me to go through a book faster. And yes, I loved it. So this is a 4.75 stars. Then that is all I read in June. So in July, I read 5 physical books and 1 audiobook. The very first book I read was Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood. This was a book picked up by my husband. This is literally a random pick. I've never heard about the author, never heard about the book. So it would have been a hit or miss. I gave this a 4.1 star. The book starts a bit slow, but it really picks up, and I think it took me at least a week to read this much in the book, and then the rest of it I finished in just a couple of days. So this is a really good book. I think I have read a lot of magic fantasy kind of book in the last 2 months. This again has a lot of magic. This seems like a young adult book. I've not actually checked what it is rated. Annie, who is a witch, and she has to she somehow stumbles upon Maeve, and she's assigned the task of taking care of her. And Maeve is a teenager and a witch, so it is all about teenage issues, the generational gap between the adult and the teenager, a lot of small cute magics, cupcakes, a lot of pinks in here, and so on. So this is a really good book, 4.1 stars. The next book that I read was Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I think I've had this book for about 2 years now. I bought this book when this was trending. A lot of booktubers and the Bookstagram was speaking about it, and I bought this book. I had even read like maybe 20 pages at some point in time, but I never completed the book. This time I finally picked it up because I wanted to read a very quick paced, easy romance. It had been quite a while since I've read a romance book, so I wanted to pick this up, and this time the book was amazing. I had stopped after 20 odd pages last time, but then this time this book was really good. It flowed well, it was fast paced, the chapters were short, which is one more thing I love. I gave this a 4.5 stars. It is a story between 2 best friends who stop talking for quite a few years and then suddenly meet, and then it's all the background and the story why they stop talking and so on. But it is really well written. I really like the structure of this. though it moves between past and present. Usually I don't like that, but this book really captured it well and I absolutely loved it. 4.5 stars. The next book I listened to was the audiobook The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Again, I had heard a lot about this book when it came out. It is a thriller and I love thrillers. I had not predicted the ending for quite some time, and that is what I really love about my thrillers. And I gave this book 4.7 stars. This is a fast read, and I think I would have enjoyed it more if I had read it rather than listened to it. But it was still a great experience, great story, great characters, and a great ending. Then the next book that I read was Shield of Sparrows. This is an absolute 5-star book for me. Again, this is a fantasy. As I said, I have read a lot of fantasy over June and July, and that's one of my favorite genres, so I absolutely love this book. I am yet to purchase the second part. I am going to do that soon, probably this month or next. Again, this is another huge book. I think it is about, yeah, it is 600 plus pages book, and again the font is absolutely huge. I love it. This is a great story, fantasy, and this is the first part in the series. There is the second part released and third is yet to be released, so I will buy the second one and read it. Absolutely good, and I really loved it. This was my only 5-star this month, and I enjoyed it. It was fast paced, it was mysterious, it had romance, it had suspense, it had politics, like literally everything packed in a single book. I don't know how the second book would be, but the first book ended at a really good cliffhanger, and I can't wait to read the second one. Then the next book that took me forever to read was The Odyssey by Homer. I started reading this because this is a classic. It is on my list on the forever future TBR. The movie was getting released and I wanted to read it before the movie, which obviously, if you have seen my previous video, did not happen. I was only able to read about half the book before I watched the movie, but I read the book afterwards and I completed it. I really liked the book. I gave this book a 4-star. I really like the story. I like the way this is written, and I gave this a 4-star because I did not enjoy it enough to be a 5-star. So basically, this is my first poetry kind of book. I'm used to reading a normal structured novel. I am not used to reading such books, so I still am not able to understand all the Greek literature nuances, how it is written. I still don't have that knowledge to appreciate the writing and how well it is constructed, and how it relates to the Greek mythology and so on. So my 4-star rating is simply based on a story. So I just read it as a novel, and based on the story, this is a 4-star book. I really enjoyed reading it, but at times I did not like the character, and some of the situations seemed very stupid. Maybe it was constructed to be so, I don't know, but as I said, I just read it as a normal novel and I gave this a 4-star. The last book that I read in July was The Miniaturist. This is one of the books I picked up in my recent book fair haul, and I picked it up based on just the cover. This is so beautiful. It looks like there are ghosts and magic and so many things. And I don't know the author, I don't know the book, I have never heard of anything written by this author, but I really love the book. I went into this book without any expectations, and even while reading, I had absolutely no idea what to expect in the next chapter. This was a completely unexpected surprise. I picked up a book by its cover, and this time I was totally right. I rated it 4.5 stars. This has elements of magic. So this book, even in the end, does not give a proper closure with respect to the main activity happening around the female lead character. But it was a very strange book. Like, I can't really describe it. Every chapter was unexpected. In fact, when I started reading the book, I had absolutely no idea what to expect. But I really enjoyed reading it, and 4.5 star book. So this is the stack. This is the huge pile that I read in June and July. I really enjoyed reading a lot of fantasies, thrillers. Like I think I read all of my favorite genres this month. Let me know if you have read any of these books or if any of these are on your TBR. And if you've already read it, let me know your thoughts on it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.